in. My name is Casey. I'm senior partner for the Highlander Consulting Group, and we're here today for the inter-training seminar. And we have 6 people in our group. I am the managing director for New York branch, and we have other 5 branch manager here to talk to you a little bit more about our group. Okay, so let me talk about a little bit about our missions, visions, and people. Our mission is to bring the right people together to establish thinking and drive transformation. We work with our clients to build the capabilities that enable organizations to achieve sustainable advantage. We are shaping the future together. Our vision is the Highlander Consulting Group has driven real change in charitable organizations like the Family Support Center that we're going to present you later, and fulfilled our clients' visions to create a more competitive area. Our people, like I said before, we have 6 people in our group, and my name is Casey. We have Anna, Christina, Kai, Sherry, and Matthew here. Okay, so the case that we're going to present is about Family Support Center. This Family Support Center is a small charitable organization. The organization's objective is to assist and find resources for people seeking for help for elderly. We provide financial assistance for elder individuals with disabilities. This organization is for rehabilitation and assisted living centers. This organization has 4 employees, 2 staff, 1 accountant, and 1 office managers. Let's welcome Kai and Anna to.
Hello, my name is Kai, and this is my partner Anna. I am from the Taipei management. And so I wanted to go ahead and show you one of our clients, the Family Support Center. They came to us so we can do a risk assessment for their donation process. So I'll be going over this flowchart. It starts from the staff. So from the staff section, we see the donors. Donors will call to the staff, and the staff will then input the information into a donors file list database. And from then on, the staff will ask the donors if they want to pay now or later. And if they want to do now, they will go ahead and process that card and then send that card receipt back to the donors. And if they don't want to pay now, they can go through the process of creating a pledge card, and that pledge card is then sent to the donors. The donors are then able to take that pledge card and then create a check or a cash and send it through mail back into the Family Support Center. And from there on, the staff will then process the mail for the actual donors' donations, or is the anonymous donations. From then on, the checks and cash will be sent out to the accountant.
So from the accountant, it receives the card receipts as well as the cash and checks, and they'll input that information into the donor files. And from the donor files, they'll get the prepared list of the donors, and they'll separate the cash and the checks and make a daily deposit into the bank. And from that daily deposit, they also get deposit slips, which they then file away later to be accessed. And as you can see, on a monthly basis, they do go ahead and get those reconciliation deposit slips so that they can make a bank statement to then reconcile the bank account to keep up with all the current money transactions. And on a weekly basis, the account will access the donor files again, and they'll review the files, and they'll put them into 2 different piles: people who have already paid and those who have not paid their pledges. And when they have paid their pledges, they'll send out a thank you letter acknowledging that we've received the payment. And if they haven't received a payment yet, they'll get a follow-up letter just reviewing the pledge amount so that the donor knows that they're still liable for that, and we can keep that aside for them. And also on a weekly basis, the donor files are uploaded to the backup database. And that backup database is for all the staff to go ahead and look at. And so it's brought over to the manager office database, And we have that open just because it is a nonprofit. It's very important for all staff to be very transparent and aware of what's happening with the transactions. And it's important that we are showing that on our flowchart. So now that we've gone over the flowchart just to show all the transactions that go on with these donor receipts, we're going to have Christina and Shirley come up and go over the controls and weaknesses that we see when we're going over this flowchart to go ahead and manage and assess the risk that we see in this business.
Hello, I am Shirley and I am the Senior Partner and Managing Director in Washington, D.C.
Hi, I'm Christina. I'm the Senior Managing Director and Partner in Boston.
And based on Anna and Kai's flowchart, we came up with certain weaknesses and controls of the Family Support Center. The first weakness that we identified was that the Family Control Center only has 4 employees. So one of their staff members, Sarah, is in charge of both preparing the donation list and opening all mails. So that can lead to fraud because she can hide the donations and keep it secret from her other employees. And an internal control that can fix this would be that we can separate the duties and have 2 employees be in charge of both the checks and the donations. And we can also use lock boxes to prevent this problem, but that would cost the company quite a fee.
Okay, so the second weakness we found was that based on the flowchart that Anna and Kai created, we found that they distribute all the donor files and information into one database that all 4 of their employees have access to, which means their 2 staff members, their accountant, and their office manager can create, edit, add, update, and delete any information within that database. And this poses a risk due to the fact that anyone can fabricate the information. It can lead to fraud, theft, and other different types of threats that would negatively impact the company. Therefore, we came up with an internal control to manage this threat. We decided that all the employees should have access to the database, but there should be policies and restrictions set by the management team to lessen the ability to edit, create, and update the files. And if someone were to edit or add or delete a certain information within the file, the management team should be notified about who did it, when they did it, and what they added or deleted, so this can minimize the threat.
And the third weakness that we identified was that all the information and all the backup copies of the files are only stored in the manager's office. That way, there's no it's not secured because it's in the manager's office and every employee can access it. Our internal control for this, to fix this risk, is that we can have the backup files be stored in off-site locations, and those off-site locations can have passwords and it can be encrypted in order to prevent any theft or any employees from accessing these backup files.
Okay, so the fourth and final weakness we found based on the flowchart is that their accountant both was given the task of depositing the payments that were given by donors and was also given the task of reconciling their bank statements. This poses a threat due to the fact that the accountant can easily do some type of fraud or fabrication to these payments, and maybe even keep the payments to himself. Therefore, we came up with an internal control of separation of duties. We would like the company to have 2 different individuals one should be able to deposit the payments and the other should be able to reconcile the bank statements. This will minimize the threat of fraud or any type of theft from happening. And now this concludes the weaknesses and internal control section of our project that we worked on. And now Matthew will be talking about the conclusion.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matthew Alicia, and I am the senior partner for the Highlander Consulting Group. Thus far, we have, based on our assessment of the Family Support Center, we have learned that the company needs to work on minimizing risks for its donor transaction system, so that the business processes and operations are running effectively and efficiently. And after we had presented our recommendations to the Family Support Center, we drafted a new automatic identification system for the company and continue to provide consulting services for them as well. Now, any questions? Yes, lovely lady at the back row.
I was wondering how long would it take to make a AIS system for a company like this, and how much would it be costing?
Oh, well, so firstly, the Family Support Center it's a non-profit organization with a very simple business model and few employees. Because of that, the costs are very minimal. You don't have anything to worry about, like in terms of issues with the costs, and with how long it'll take as well, because it's gonna take like either a year or less. It'll cost like only a few $1,000s. Now, any other questions?
No, that was all.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope that this seminar has been very educational for you lovely interns, and this concludes the seminar.